Welcome back to How to Cake It. I'm Yolanda, and this week I have caked a giant party hat because let's face it, we all have a ton of holiday parties to go to.
Is it for a giant person?
We're gonna do it that way. I caked a party hat for a giant to wear to a party. Or a basketball player, somebody very, very tall and large. To bake this cake, I made 8 pounds of my ultimate vanilla batter, folded in some multicolored sprinkles, and then baked them in 6 round pans. If you want all the details on how much batter was in each pan and how long I baked them, you can get that here. I pointed in the right place this time. My cakes are baked, cooled, and chilled, and it's time to remove them from their pans. Now, I need the help of Mr. Burns to remove these cakes because there's so many sprinkles in the batter, it makes the batter a little bit sticky because the sprinkles melt while baking, right? It's a party on the outside, it's a party on the inside. It's a party in my tummy.
I love these special occasion cakes. There's always something cool in them.
Yes. Now I need to level these cakes with a ruler and a serrated knife and also cut the caramelization off the bottom. Now, when I level these cakes, they end up looking sort of, I call it tie-dye. There's so much color inside the batter because of how many sprinkles I added to the batter. So Party Hat is actually a cake in my cake book. I'm gonna turn to it. I think it's in my cake book. Hold on. I remember making a party hat. Yeah, oh yes, yes. If you see this party hat in the book, the cake batter looks like it's been sprinkled with color, like it's almost sort of polka dotted with color. But I put so many sprinkles in this cake that it looks tie-dye, and I think it looks awesome. I also want to remove the caramelization from the sides of my cakes. So for this, I just really like laying a cake pan on top and running a small serrated knife along the edge of that cake pan to cut off the caramelization and still make sure that my cake is nice and round. Because sometimes if you're tempted to sort of like slice it off like bread, you can end up with like an octagon or a hexagon. You don't want that. You want it to stay. You know this? Did you do that with your wedding cake?
Yeah.
Orhan, how much How to Cake It footage have you watched? I did offer to take a ride in your suitcase and you didn't take me up on it. Something about laws. I don't know. Now it's time to simple syrup all of these cakes. Sir Squeeze was so impressed. He was like, oh my gosh, this is a party. He was. All the sprinkles, he felt underdressed. Like he clearly didn't dress up for a party. It's time to begin filling and stacking these cakes, but first I need to lay the largest layer onto a cake board that is 1 inch bigger than that layer. Now I'm going to fill the layers with Italian meringue buttercream. Just spread, stack, all the way to the top.
That doesn't sound like party. That sounds like a...
It sounds like work to me. The party starts when we cut the cake though.
True, yeah.
We haven't gotten to the party yet. The next thing I want to do is fill a piping bag with more of my Italian meringue buttercream fitted with a round tip. Now I'm going to pipe rings of Italian meringue buttercream along the top edge of each layer of cake. Do you know what I'm saying? So like it looks like steps because each cake gets smaller. Yeah. So I want to pipe a ring of buttercream in that extra space. And now you spread the buttercream that you have piped with a small offset spatula, and this becomes your crumb coat and turns the cake into a cone because that buttercream is filling in those steps.
So instead of removing cake, you added buttercream.
Correct.
And you don't do this
you
all
like
the
it.
time because...
I can't do it all. From now on, I'll do it whenever I can, I promise. And I put something a little more comfortable on because I want to talk to you guys about camp cake. And in order to do that, I have to dress up as an elf. Camp cake is now on sale, guys. Join my holiday baking party from the comfort of your own kitchen this December the 15th. Right now, it's 30% off if you register over the next few days. You will also receive a promo code for 25% off anything at howtocakeit.com. Not this costume. And there's even more. You will get instant access to our 2 holiday ebooks. Click here to join Camp Cake. I can't wait to bake with you all. Can I take this off now?
Yep.
Yay! Now my crumb coat is chilled. It is time to ice this cake, again with my small offset spatula. You just want to ice it enough that it's a nice, smooth cone. Right now, this is not looking like a party hat. It's very plain and boring, and I need to bring the party to this hat.
You sounded like you're going into a commercial break.
Did I?
Yeah.
And when I return, the party is on. How's that? Isn't that very like TV hosty? It's time to cover this cake in white fondant. Okay, I lied. It's not getting super party right now, but it's a start. So I make sure to measure the cake, measure the height of your cone, and measure the circumference at the base and at the top, very different. And then roll out your white fondant sort of into a triangle. This will help you cover the cake so you don't have a ton of excess up at the top. This is the same way that I covered my witch hat, except that was black fondant, which I guess it's technically a dark party hat. That's why you must like witches. You need to pick up your fondant quickly and wrap it around the cake.
In witch hat,
Yeah.
many people actually think that you're using magic.
Really?
Yeah, because it looks magically, just like slaps on it.
That's awesome. No, it was just, I did it so quickly so that I could let go of it, but I can't believe it worked so well.
It's
Like,
as if you've been doing this for years.
you'd think.
Yeah.
It's like I have 20 years of practice, you know? Once you have your fondant wrapped around your hat, smooth it very carefully. You can use a fondant smoother, and then where it overlaps itself, we're going to lay a ruler over that fondant and take a sharp paring knife and cut a clean seam and push that seam together. This month's Sprinkle Service members are getting a surprise sampler of 5 exclusive mystery blends. Ooh. Imagine getting a package that's just filled with sprinkles.
Well, Sprinkle Service, people get it all.
Yes, I know that, but this time they get to be surprised by 5 things. Like you
Nice.
just keep, just when you're done, no, there's another one, and another one, and another one. And then you want to cut away the excess fondant at the bottom of your party hat as well as at the top. Now at the top, you don't have to cut it flush. It's okay if there's a little lip of fondant. That's going to help us add our pom-pom later. The next thing I want to do is fill in, I'm becoming the seam hider. You know what? I've decided right now, I feel like I should have an official seam hider outfit, and we should do like a very Superman thing where every time I talk about hiding a seam, I'm like, I need the seam hider, and then I come and sit back in that outfit. Please give me your best seam hider costume ideas below. And then I want to film an official opening like CSI Miami. Yeah, we need an update. It's a new season. And I'm gonna move on to rolling my fondant colors so we can add the party to this hat.
You said that before.
I did? Yeah, but I remember I also said that I lied. I was like, it's time to add the party to this hat, and then I covered a white cone in white. So I feel like that was a letdown. So for this, I've chosen 6 different colors. I used, let me see if I can remember them all. Yellow, green, turquoise, purple, red, and pink.
That's not remembering. You looked at them.
No, I wasn't looking at that. And I rolled out about 8 ounces of each color, nice and thin. The first thing I want to create is my pom-pom for the top of the hat. And to do this, I cut even strips of fondant from each color. And now I'm going to use my herb scissors. He's not named Herb, it's for cutting herbs. I think I should just call him Herb. So we take our fondant strips and we use these scissors, and then we just cut along the strip, not all the way to the end, because we're not trying to make confetti. We want to keep it together. Cut all the way along the strip. You can glue together the part that hasn't been cut with the scissors with a little bit of clear piping gel. Lay all the colored strips on top of one another with the tassels facing the same way, and then you want to sort of pick the whole thing up and roll it up. Does that make sense?
What are you making?
A pom-pom for the top of the party. It's not a party hat without a pom-pom,
That's true.
I feel.
It's very different than pom-pom where you make on camp cake.
Yes, entirely. That's like a knitted pom-pom. This is like, it would be made out of paper. Now in the cake book, I did a star pattern on my party hat just because I think stars are great. But for this, I've decided to do sort of like a random polka dot pattern. So all I need to cut this pattern are some circle cutters and some piping tips, which I use as cutters. I cut 6 different sizes of circles, 1 size per color of fondant, and so I just cut a bunch out. So it's better to have more than you need than not enough. And now I can glue these dots onto my hat in a random pattern, and of course I just brush a little bit of clear piping gel on the back of each dot before I glue it on. I find it easiest to glue them on by size, so I usually like to start with the largest dot, spread it out, then the next size, then the next size, then the next size, because then you can see where there's pockets, or maybe you don't have enough yellow over here or enough turquoise over here. And it's much easier to do this in a random pattern. If you tried to measure and make a perfect polka dot pattern, at the back it would never line up, and that would drive me crazy. Next week, I'm caking a How to Cake It holiday classic recipe, but bigger than ever before. It's gonna last you the whole holiday. You won't be able to just pick it up and eat it. And here's a tease. If you can guess what it is, comment below. So for my staple, I'm gonna break 2 short lengths of spaghetti, and then I'm going to coat the pieces of spaghetti in a little bit of vegetable shortening. You can just rub it on with your fingertips, and then paint it with some silver luster dust. I'm not using gold because I've tried to find gold staples and haven't. So I'm gonna keep it real. For the string of my hat, I'm simply going to soften some white fondant and put it into a clay extruder, and then I'm going to extrude that fondant with a small circular faceplate, just to make a string of fondant. And now I add the string to the hat. I cut it to the appropriate length. You want to make it look like there's enough to fit around somebody's head. Glue it to the hat on 2 opposite ends and the same height up from the bottom. And then just glue on your spaghetti staples and make it look like they are holding the string in place. It's time to party. Confetti, not real confetti, digital confetti, much easier to clean up. There's so many good party songs, but I can't cakeify them. My Girl Likes to Party All the Time by Eddie Murphy, it's a classic. My girl likes to cake it all the time.
There you go.
I don't think it's good. There's DMX Party Up in Here. I can't do a DMX voice though. Oh, I don't know. It's gonna come to me after. We're gonna be done this interview and I'm gonna be like, I came for the party and I stayed for the cake. So it's time to cut this party hat cake. I know what my t-shirt says, but you know what? Actually, you know what this should say? I came with the cake and stayed for the party. Because every time I brought a cake to a party, guess who had to cut it? And that's what I'm gonna do now. Thank you for watching. Don't forget about Camp Cake, and make sure to check out the new videos on Step by Step. Kat and her ginger cake houses, and Joni and a chubby bunny. I'll see you next week.